Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Modern Toyfare. I am your host, Mr. Modern Toyfare, and I am joined by the founder of the Neck Illuminati, the YouTube wife, Mrs. Modern Toyfare, Jarmar_Games. But that's not all. We are also joined by the man Modern Toyfare has full custody over. The man Optimus Prime popped and he still can't stop. The Twilight Knight, Nate. How you guys doing this week?
I'm doing really great. Jarmar, did a creepy old bike shop owner take you down to the basement and take pictures of you without your shirt on?
Possibly.
Well, you said it was a very special episode. I just remember that episode of Different Strokes.
Oh God!
I was gonna say I did wake up earlier and I had no clue what happened for at least 2 hours. So
oh my God!
You had the answer.
That is an absolute deep cut, and
That
you
is-
have to be. You have to be over 40 years of age to get it. So
First off,
for
I
any of
watched
our-
Different Strokes as a kid.
40.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I remember Different Strokes.
It's been
Yeah,
also
so-
20 years since I've seen Different Strokes, so like I didn't make that connection. I'm just like, why? What is going on?
So Arnold and Dudley go over to the bike store owner's house, and he gets Dudley to take his shirt off, and it's a whole thing.
I
Yeah.
feel like I vaguely remember something like.
We all remember it
oh, yeah.
because it all burned into our minds. Like, I don't understand this, but something's not right.
Yeah,
like,
I shouldn't go
I
into
don't
some
like-
man's basement. That's definitely a no-no.
yeah, like, why,
Um,
I don't like any of this. And welcome
Okay.
if this is your first one, because
Yes.
that sets the mood. It really does.
Woo!
It's not even OnlyFigs.
I take it off the rails so quick.
Whew, all right.
Can we
that
add
might
that
be a
into
record.
my? Can we add that into my intro? Like somehow I'm a 3-pump chump when it comes to getting things off the rails.
I like that. I need to get a notepad so I can make a note of that.
I mean, maybe more tastefully could be like the.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Miss.
We have to class it up a little bit. This is a classy place.
I don't know if
You
don't know
guys
if we-
are well aware. I've been very upfront. I'm not a fan of this show, but I still want it to be classy.
What was
Like,
it? It was
can we
I'm
say,
a
like, the-
3-pump chump when it comes to taking things off the rails.
Yeah.
Maybe like just easily distracted conductor. Something like that. I don't.
So I like that your
3-pump
problem
chump.
with this analogy is the taking things off the rails, not the 3-pump chump part.
Right.
No, that's
right.
that's what I'm saying. The 3-pump chump is I'm trying to get more classier than that. So misguided conductor. He's taking trains off the rails. Like,
Oh, we'll
I mean-
workshop it. We'll workshop it.
that. Let's workshop
But I
that.
still wanted to make a note of it so that way I remember it because that
Premature
was gold.
conductation. I don't know. Is that
premature
premature
conduction.
conduction?
Oh my God. Anyway, so the reason why this is a very
Totally
special
misconduct.
episode is a week and a half, 2 weeks ago-ish, we finally hit 1,000 subscribers. And we've actually gone even further past that. We're currently sitting at 1,245 subscribers last I checked.
Nice.
So first and foremost, thank you to everyone who's new and old subscribing, everyone who's watching, everyone who
welcome.
actually the algorithm is showing you this video. We know that's a bigger challenge than any of the other three.
Yeah.
So we want to take an episode where it wasn't going to be just strictly about toys and stuff. We'll still talk about toys, I'm sure, at some point, because 3-pump chump below me here will find a way to take it off the rails, and we'll start talking about
Love taking off them rails.
Something. But we're gonna kind of go down in the road so far and what led us here, the things that worked, the things that definitely didn't work, the cringy, very cringy early days that I had to sit through watching to come up with this list of events that have taken place over the course of almost 2 years now. That's right, I came prepared and did some research. So
I didn't do that again.
yeah, not a fan of the show. I get it.
Listen,
Not a fan.
Listen, Nate. Listen, we didn't get to 1,000 subscribers by doing research.
Yeah,
That's
trust
all
me.
I'm
No.
saying.
Exactly,
No.
I did. Yeah, that's the yeah.
If you're newer, we
The
don't do a lot of
formula's
work.
working.
They don't.
formula's
Let's get it
working.
right. They don't do a lot
Yeah.
of work. I'm the man
Wait,
in front of the
where-
curtain, behind the
where's
curtain.
Jamar?
I am the fucking
Where's
curtain.
Jamar? Is he
He's
up
other
above
side.
me?
He's your left side.
He's over here?
Yep, he's on
He's
that
up
side.
here?
Yeah,
This is Jamar?
yeah, it's Jamar.
Where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just show
Yeah.
up.
Yep,
This guy does
We're
the
here.
work.
fact.
Everything that you love.
Comes from them
Well,
too.
it's mostly us, but
It's
how it gets to you
It's me.
is this
That's
guy.
it.
Yeah, without
This
me,
guy.
you don't get to see these two. So
No,
You're
no.
welcome.
Otherwise, we'd have to invite you to the Discord. Which, I mean, 1,000 subscribers, you guys can come. It's fine.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Which would also mean, Nate, you'd have to join the
You'd
Discord.
have to actually use the Discord for something other than once a week.
It always
Like,
says the
never mind.
same. This is all right. So
anyway, so let's go down some things here. Let's start with where this all began. So, roughly 2 years ago, I was in the process of making a YouTube channel. I wanted to do something with toy reviews. I had previously done some stuff for our old podcast group, and I wanted to bring that back to life. And I had kind of come up with the name. I kind of had an idea of what I want to do. And then Jarmar was talking to me about the fact that he wanted to do a video podcast, that he loved doing Why You Gamer, but he wanted something visual. And I'm like, well, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do something on Modern Toyfare. And that's when Modern Toyfare News was born. So that was June 25th. It was the very first episode of Modern Toyfare News. Boy, was it rough, both then and now. Ironically, it took to episode 2 for me to get my ring lights, so that way I wasn't sitting in the dark. Because the very first several episodes, I didn't have a whole lot of lighting, and I also didn't want to use natural lighting. So I was essentially sitting there with just like a couple ring lights and some purple lights behind me. And it
should have lit a candle.
I probably should have. It probably still would have looked a lot better than it did. Then from there, just because it became an ongoing joke, Jarmar took his first week off on episode 9, where then he went from being, as always, my co-host to as sometimes and as usual, depending on how I was feeling. I like that Nate is just playing Alice and looking at us like a fucking Brady Bunch.
I'm trying to add realism
I like
here.
the kayfabe of it, because that I always have you guys over on the left of my screen, so that way when you are talking, it looks like I'm looking at you. So I appreciate the kayfabe on that. It hits me here. So then on episode 12, I had to go solo, because I believe at that point I had to go solo because
I'm watching that one tonight.
Yeah, because I believe that at that point Jarmar was going on maternity leave, I believe.
Okay.
And that was the
month
first. That was back in.
His would be paternity leave.
Yeah, whatever. That would have been back in, I believe, September or August of 2020.
September.
Yeah.
September makes
I think you took off like the week before September started. I think it was the very end of August. Because in the following week, I had Wes on. And then you did come back for our Hasbro PulseCon recap, where we had all 4 of us.
Yeah. But that was me.
That was Nate's
Yeah,
very
that was my
first episode 13.
It was in my living room. Like, it was, because it was real dark behind me. I remember that.
Yep.
It was the only computer I had at the time.
Your living room setup, which you had for quite a while before you moved downstairs and then had to move back upstairs because you were remodeling your basement.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, episode 13, Nate debuted.
There's that, yes.
In between that, we did have both Rob and Wes who filled in.
Get it graded.
So yeah, we had Nate show up then. Jarmar eventually did return on episode 19, and that is when we started getting more into the nicknames. Episode 22, we started cycling Nate in regularly and giving Jarmar, who was a new papa, some time off, so that way he didn't have to be here at the time. I think it was every Thursday we recorded instead of Wednesday. And then before he was the man Modern Toyfare had full custody over, Nate started off as the substitute co-host.
Yes.
So he was that for quite a while, actually.
Yeah.
And then we bump forward to January, and that is on January the 15th, 2021, me and Jarmar tied the metaphorical digital knot, and he officially became my YouTube wife.
I don't even recall the scenario in this.
So the episode prior to that, for a long while actually, you would always like, antagonize me because I wouldn't have something ready for you and nag me like a housewife. So you made the joke that you're like my wife. So then the very next episode is the first time I referred to you as my YouTube wife, Jarmar_games. Episode 40 on April 30th, we finally realized that the very dark like color scheme we had going with all the blacks and purples and stuff was not appealing to the eye, and we changed the entire color scheme, got the new layout, new logo, completely basically rebranded the show, minus we kept the name. And that was also when Mr. Modern Toyfare was born, and I started with that moniker. Then episode 39, which was the week before that, it was the first time actually I had this set up. Because for the longest time I was like jammed in a little corner with not a lot of space, and then I finally said, fuck it, I'm going to set it up a little nicer, and this has been the setup since. Moving forward even more, we episode 53, I made the terrible life choice of having to head back to Ohio, and I let Nate and Jarmar host the show.
That's right.
And
some would say, you know,
then
our go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say our rise to fame started then, but you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then ironically, the following week on August 13th, we called it quits on Modern Toyfare News. So episode 54, after 54
because
episodes...
you couldn't recreate what we did.
True.
It ended. Like there was no need to continue.
But yeah, so episode 54, after doing the news for a little over a year, we finally were like, it's not working. It's not getting the views that we wanted it to for the amount of work that went into it. So we had to kind of workshop and come up with something new. And what that did is that gave us a little bit of time off. We took a hiatus. A few months later, September 24th, we returned with a new show that we were very proud of, Toy Therapy.
Yeah.
And we were still in the process of getting some more guests for that. So that is not dead. It is coming back. It's just a matter of, getting people lined up with the proper times, because everyone has a life. Because even your favorite content creators online, like Cincy Nerd and Kent Pool and all of them, they have lives and they don't necessarily have time to just dump in and come here and sit with us for an hour or two.
They're busy with their own shit.
Exactly.
So.
They all have
couch has got to.
Oh yeah, that needs a deep clean after the last one. Dave Wonder really left a mess. Shout out to Dave.
Yeah, he was good fun.
But yeah, so we did that, and then a few weeks later, on October 15th, we debuted the Modern Toyfare podcast, which is where we are now, where we come to you each week. We talk about different things going on in the toy world, or in this case, about ourselves. You're welcome. And we just kind of shoot the shit and do everything that Modern Toyfare News was, without the hassle of needing to read off a list of news to you. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, if you search for the news, are you clicking us or are you clicking Fwoosh? We know the answer. It's not us.
I click.
I do too. It's fair. I even made sure to have the news go on Friday, because I'm like, I'm going to beat Robo to it, and maybe then we'll get some views.
Yeah.
Nope, not at all. We didn't even get like a fraction of % of what he gets, and that's fine. He's been doing it for years. He's fantastic. I love Robo. He needs to come on Toy Therapy. But yeah, we could not compete. Then on October the 15th, we also won full custody of Nate after a long and grueling legal battle.
Yeah, I feel like that should be explained a little bit for some people.
Yes.
So when I joined, I had come off a stint. I was a co-host of the Figuratively Speaking podcast that
Great
ran.
podcast. Go listen to it.
Yeah, I want to say it was 3 years.
It was a while,
at least. Yeah, we went on for a while. We actually did some con appearances, Wizard World. We did panels and such like that. It was a good time. I do miss my two co-hosts. I mean, when you have past relationships, you still can remember the good times and think fondly of them. It's not always bad. I just, I'm in love with these fellas now. So that's how it works. That's the breaks. But
we're your dad.
that's
now.
where Yes, exactly.
Oh my.
That's where I came
This is
from.
your OnlyFigs.
So I've been training, taking things off the rails for
Oh, I
years,
didn't know where this is
literally,
going.
literal years. So I am so good at it. But yeah, as Michael said, check them out. They're out there still somewhere. So check them out. They're really old. Like, topics are really old. It's fun to go back. I did listen to some of them a while
Oh,
back. It's pretty funny.
it's borderline more
One,
fun to listen to them now than it was at the
right,
time, because you get to see
right,
how ridiculous some of the hot takes were, and
yes,
also some of your hot takes of like, I'll never collect that, fuck that, and now where you are.
right, right.
Like, that's also where
Yes.
the man who Optimus Prime popped and he still can't stop came from, is the fact that, in figuratively speaking, Nate was like, Transformers are dumb, I don't like them, and now
Yes.
that's 90% of his weekly purchases.
Yes. Yes. So yeah. Check my toy therapy episode because it's also out of date.
Very.
and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
literally
have-
2 weeks after, he's like, by the way, guys, I'm getting rid of half my collection.
Here I have my collection. I changed careers. Yeah. So like, my life is different now than it was in I think it was like the beginning of August of 2021.
You were the first episode, so you would have been September 24th is when we
Okay.
did that
I
episode.
think we recorded it though.
We
in,
recorded
like,
it a few weeks
August,
in advance, because
it
there was a
early.
3-week span where we recorded yours, Jamar's, then mine, so that way we'd have them in the can while we recorded other stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it probably was like beginning of September, late August, be my guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where those come from.
Yeah.
And then we have the founder of the NECA Illuminati over here. So
oh yeah,
we got to explain that, right?
So that came from a really, really tough time when we had our up and downs with NECA for quite some time, but I don't remember what we were trying to go after.
Oh,
it was so many different things.
So every week on
Skies Turtles, or
it was a multitude of things.
Okay.
So
yeah, you guys were already like pretty deep into it when I showed up.
we were balls deep in the hate train for NECA. But we did Turtle Watch 2020 every week on Toyfare News, and we started off with, I want to say, Metalhead, and then that led to the Disguised Turtles, and then as things progressed and things got worse, you slowly became more and more of a conspiracy theorist with how NECA does their dealings.
We had what was the pack at Walmart that came with the Krang head? That was the artist. The
loot box thing with
Yes,
because that's right, you had the shiny shredder, and you had the cap.
That's where it came from.
Yes,
that's where it came from. That's where we kind of started the joke of, I said they don't want us to buy their toys. It's a whole NECA Illuminati thing, which still exists. It's still very real.
It is.
It's just working with Loot Crate now.
Yeah, it is. Oh man, we need an entire episode about that. Maybe that's what we'll do next week. Is next
week?
That's
not a bad idea to kind of go through the history of Loot Crate. Now the problem there is that it's going to have to be you that does all that. So it's going to be up to you on whether or not
we'll be here.
Listen, I sat through a year's worth of terrible content on this channel for this episode, so I'm pretty sure I can handle figuring out the timeline of the shit show that is NECA Loot Crate. But yeah, that's what we'll do next week. You know what? I'm saying it now. Next week's episode, we're going to talk about the NECA Loot Crate dilemma, and it'll be the NECA Illuminati episode. We'll do it.
I will do research on that one.
I'm down for that.
I will try and find a hat, because
I still got mine over on the doorknob there. I'll fucking wear mine too. Well, Nate, you got one right?
The Krang hat?
Yeah.
Oh.
Next week, all three of us are wearing our Krang hats. It's decided.
All right.
NECA Illuminati episode.
That's a slight overpromise. I think I know where mine's at. I have since moved.
I can see mine too. So I'm putting it here on the show now. Next week, Jarmar has a week to find his fucking Krang hat.
Well, here's the thing. What we'll do is, if I can't find it, we'll just Photoshop the hat there, and I'll just.
I borderline like that better, because that would be so much funnier. I'll even like Photoshop a little tape on it to make it look like it's just taped to the screen. I love it. So either way, it's a win-win.
That works.
But yeah, so
return of the NECA Illuminati.
We've got the NECA Loot Crate next week for the NECA Illuminati. Perfect. And then of course, I mean, the final step in all of this is that on April 25th, 2022, we passed 1K subscribers. For me, that was the biggest moment, just because when we started this, my goal that I had set for myself was within the first year I wanted to hit 1K. I was like, it's possible, but it's gonna be a lot of work, and I'm down for it. We missed the mark by a lot. I think after the first year we were at like 600, which still is nothing to nothing to brush off. But it definitely was like a gut punch. So then I was like, you know what? Before we hit 2 years, I have to hit 1K. That no excuses. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. And then we did. We just in the wire, because obviously we have 2 months before our 2 year anniversary. So we did come in by the skin of our teeth, but we did it, and I it's a big moment in my opinion, just because like to be able to hit that goal. And also because that opens us up to be able to do so much more, because now we can apply for monetization, and then Nate can take us off the rails and get us demonetized. It's going to be a great time.
Does that mean we could finally give away that metalhead?
Oh, we gave that away a long time ago.
Oh, that's right.
We took a while. That fucking took forever.
I want to do another elaborate giveaway like that. That was fun.
Man, yeah, that was ridiculous how long it took. I was like, this thing was hard to find. Why you motherfuckers don't want it? Yeah, that was that's a stat I completely forgot about, was the fucking like 10, 15, however many weeks it was of just being like, come on, subscribe and retweet us, and you get a chance once we hit like I think it was 500 or something like that. I can't remember. Or no, it was 250. Yeah. It wasn't even 500. It was in the very early days.
250 stretch goal for 300, I think, for something else.
A 300. I gave away the shirt from the
that's
tour.
Right.
Yeah.
Tour. Yeah.
So yeah, it was. Yeah, that was like pulling teeth. So what's some stuff like reminiscing wise for the past 2 years that you guys kind of look back and you're like, man, that was great, or man, that was fucking dog shit? I like it was innocent.
Yeah. My favorite thing though has been bringing the three of us together. So, Michael and I, we were good, as far as we doing the news and stuff like that. And, the couple times that, Jarmar and I would get together, that was cool. But then now, like, the balance of three, I think, is helpful. So that's probably been my favorite thing about the whole thing. Yeah.
The triangle.
So,
the Trinity.
I mean, I can't argue with that. Like, the as much as
sure.
As easy as it is to do a 2-man booth and like less chaotic it can be and easy to manage, mm-hmm. I don't think I would trade this for the world, just because the banter that goes on between the three of us is better than it would be with any of the two of us. Specifically when I'm not here. I mean, you just can't beat it.
Right. 100%. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I still look back at those days, like doing the news, of being like, I for one, I don't know if this is why we just didn't get a lot of views, but I didn't follow toy news like this. Like, doing a toy show was like, yeah, I spend all my money on Ninja Turtle stuff and occasionally other things. So this is cool to like get into like the toy world essentially. And I do miss it sometimes, of like knowing what's going on and just talking about it and giving like my honest to God like reactions, because I didn't know this stuff ahead of time. So it was really fun. But also, one thing that I'm pretty sure my wife would appreciate is constantly pre-ordering things on the news. Like, and being like, oh, this is cool, I didn't know this existed. As I'm going,
so many purchases made live while we're recording.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that was problematic in some ways. But yeah, I mean, that the news was really fun. I know it really wasn't like well received, I guess. But that just, that could have been a different time, different thing. But everyone does news, and I think where we're at right now is we have a really good dynamic of a show. So maybe
because even if we talk about some of the same things, we're offering different opinions and different discussions.
Right.
So the news stuff, once I see Robo do it, I'm good. Like I
Yeah.
don't watch really a second news show, so that was a big thing. I think the downside, if anything, was just the amount of crap I have all over my desk still, because this is the only time I come down here, and I have stuff on here from weeks ago. That has been an issue.
That's fair. That's
because
fair.
everything else is for the most part super fun. Because even on the ones like, because we had a couple of, we had our Toyfare like part 2 video. Like it was it was wobbly at best, because I think we stretched out about 15 minutes of discussion to like about 28 minutes of show.
Yeah.
But even those painful ones or something like that, one, you learn something from it, which is awesome. And two, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of fun when you kind of have to kind of riff on stuff. I make jokes about taking things off the rails, but part of the fun of this for me is to have fun. I love talking about this kind of stuff. This is generally now what I do as far as my as far as for a living, is I am, heavily involved in the toy world now. And it's weird because like you'd think that would make me less interested. And even though I don't buy as much as I used to, I still get a lot. I maybe don't spend as much, but I still get stuff. And
you still always are the man with the most on
right
on OnlyFigs. So
yeah. But that's probably the fun of it too, is getting to be involved, and like more recently, hearing from people, getting feedback, having those cool comments and conversations and things like that. That's been some of the best stuff about it. I mean, this has been, because I've been on like off and on just under like around a year and a half, I think. And it's one of my favorite times of the week, because one, I don't get to see Michael at all because he lives a couple, I don't know, what is it, thousands miles away?
It's
yeah. So and Jarmar and I don't hang out outside of this because he doesn't like me, and that's okay. I get it. I'm not for everyone. But
he's just mad because your thumbnail does better than his.
And listen. Let me just.
Ironically, I put up the OnlyFigs on YouTube from last week, and the thumbnail is you going like this.
You're like, hey.
I made a conscious effort to smile all the time in every single moment, so that way I don't have a thumbnail
So
you not smiling.
You didn't like I thought that thumbnail I chose for you was perfect for what the video was, because it was Hasbro's prices versus everyone else's, with inflation, and you just have this sort of like you just looked so distraught, and I'm like, that's the thumbnail.
I just said to myself and everyone else, I go, was I not smiling in that episode?
I mean, there was a few minutes where you weren't.
Whatever sells.
Yeah.
I did think of a fun game.
Oh.
It would be fun to go back through for viewers and specifically watch for me and figure out which episodes I'm high.
Oh my god.
I know the answer to that.
Yeah, all of them.
It's more than 5. I'm gonna say that. I'm not now, but
I was surprised because it looked like you were doing something there before we went live.
Oh yeah, I have my vape pen here, but it doesn't really do anything. Just makes me.
I couldn't see exactly what it was, but it looked like you almost had like one of those old timey pipes. I'm like, does he have like this fancy pot pipe that he's just sitting there like smoking with his fancy he's got his robe on and his pipe, and he's just relaxing on Wednesdays.
It's actually got Rick and Morty on it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's medicinal, so don't worry about it. I got a license.
All those back surgeries.
Back off, man. No, I do. I have my license, so. But yeah, should be fun. Should be fun for the viewers.
Yes, it should.
And accidentally knock something over, so that's a fun.
Yeah. Speaking of, we mentioned comments. I also want to take a minute to acknowledge some of those. So obviously, the episode we did where Hasbro really shit the bed, which kind of helped us out a
Yep.
lot. We
Thanks,
got
Hasbro. We're
yeah,
fucking it up.
thanks guys. We got I still hold to. I will answer every single comment I can, with exceptions of a couple that kind of got out of hand that I was like, I'm just gonna escort you out the door because this is not the place or time for that kind of banter. Um, but we had several people, and it really meant a lot to hear tell us that we did a fantastic job of covering that subject, and we did a great job of seeing it from all the different sides and varying opinions and stuff, rather than a lot of other content creators. They would tell us we're essentially just like, this is what it is, I don't like it, end of story. Like they didn't really have a discussion, which is to be expected, because a lot of other content creators, it's not a team of three. It's one person sitting there discussing the topic and trying to basically hold a conversation with themselves. So like, to their point, like, it's not their fault that they weren't able to, because they're expressing their opinion, where we have the privilege of having three of us with varying opinions for the most part. But it still meant a lot just to hear that, when there's so many options out there, to hear that there's something we're doing that someone else isn't doing, that like people are liking, versus it being the opposite and being like, oh, you're doing the news, but you're doing poorly, so I'm gonna go watch Robo.
I got to tell you, one of the coolest things too is I have been able to make some connections, some current and former employees of different places, and those conversations have been really great. And I would love to get some of those on if they would like to, but I'm going to leave that up to them. But really understanding the business side of it. We're so quick to be like, well, why can't they make this? Why can't they listen to me? Why didn't they do this? They're, Hasbro's lazy. And I'm not saying that they're not. Like, don't misunderstand. Like, I am a fan too. But, we got to look at it from all the different perspectives. And the business side is a huge part of it, which is what we did on our last week's episode, which you can see Jarmar's face on, where we kind of deep dived into the business part of it. So, just saying.
That's the sign of a great co-host, when he tries to put you over so that way your thumbnail can do as well as his.
Right. I want it to do better.
Me too, just so we don't have to assume that YouTube's a little racist.
Yeah.
Jarmar, I don't know what you did, but you're muted.
Am I back?
YouTube.
There he is.
Yeah.
YouTube censoring the black man.
It's YouTube and NECA, man. They're trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know. We're on.
Oh God, what were you saying?
Oh, I forgot. I forgot. Wait, what? Yeah, since
we were discussing the business side of it,
like,
I said that Nate's a great co-host because he's putting you
oh,
over.
yeah. And you said the YouTube, and I said I see the thumbnails. I keep account of it. I know what's going on. I know what's up. YouTube.
I mean, I haven't really used our faces for
like,
thumbnails until recently.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, you act like it's been an ongoing thing, and like literally there's
no,
three
not
thumbnails.
just you. It's
if you're
YouTube in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
just YouTube. In general.
Okay.
But you acted defensive.
Well, no, I was.
I'm just teasing you.
I'm just saying that, like, we don't have very many thumbnails with your face on. So you act like I've been watching the thumbnails. I'm like there's literally like 3 thumbnails with Nate's face and 2 with yours. Like, we don't have very many thumbnails with our faces on them.
And the one
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah. So it's been a great ride, and I can't wait to see where it takes us from here. Hopefully, just growing and growing more and more as we continue, and hopefully we continue to grow also over on Twitch with Wednesday night OnlyFigs, where we do our weekly purchases and everything, and Nate ruins our night by having us do a numbers game, and then also outdoes us with how many purchases he has. So like it's always a good time. I will say some of the inside jokes that I do miss from news, which come up once in a blue moon, but it was more prevalent during the news, is like when a figure would get the Mirage treatment because the Apex Mirage figure just looked so terrible that just became a thing that any figure with a terrible face scan instantly was there. He is.
I happen to have him right here.
I feel like that had to been planned.
Now my camera won't switch.
Yep. YouTube Illuminati.
Yeah, there you go. No, I just have all my Apex figures down because I was trying to pull out a book for.
I liked it better when you were prepared for the show, so I'm just gonna pretend that was what it was.
Yeah, yep. Call out another inside.
You know,
joke. I bet you'll have it.
A part of another inside joke is the fact that I am really grateful that I don't have to talk about McFarlane every single week. Nothing against them. They're growing on me. But, oh, my God, when we were doing the news.
Oh, my God, it was
week. It was the first thing out the gate, and it was always something where I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
it was to the
like
point where like it was always the joke, too. Like, and starting off this week, like every week, McFarlane with just a shitload of news, so strap in.
Yeah.
Oh, man, the good times.
Man, I wish I was prepared to tell you one of my favorite news stories, but I can't think of anything.
I mean, realistically, for me, it was the first time that we came across that Mirage figure because that nothing beat just the joy that it brought us to just shit all over that figure for a good solid 5 minutes, and then continue to bring it up whenever another figure looked terrible. I can't tell if Nate hit that point in his high where he's just staring at us or not.
I'm not high tonight. I swear to God, I'm not.
He's just intense thinking.
You're just staring very heavily, and I'm like,
starting with the episode that busted out. Like I was like, oh, maybe I should not, So I'm saying.
Yeah, true.
But
was
yeah,
during. I was just gonna say, was it during the news when we had Nate say like we found out the truth of why he didn't make it to one episode, and he's like, "Oh, you guys got it." Was that news or was that weekly purchases?
It was
right. Well, I guess technically
purchases.
Yeah, because news
it was first weekly purchases, but that was that episode where you guys were talking about McFarlane.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the topic for the day or the week, and because I fell asleep and I set an alarm specifically to get down here at the right time because we were recording at 10 and it went off at 9:50 or whatever, and I got up and I looked at the clock and then I went 9:50. Okay, you know what, they got this, and went right back to sleep.
And then he didn't tell us that we got this. He told himself this. So me and Jarmar are just sitting here like, what do we do? Like he's not answering his phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I had no thought of that part of it. They should probably know that I'm not going to make it. I'm like, well, they'll figure it out. Because by the time I wake back up, they have long since.
Oh yeah, we had no choice at that point. Yeah, because I the best part is the chat is like, where the fuck's Nate? You should call him. You should find out where he's at.
Yeah, I was sleeping.
Yeah, and then we found out the following week. But yeah, so tons of great memories. Hopefully we get tons more. But let's wrap it up because we also still need to go do our OnlyFigs live stream, which if you want to catch that, Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern time, over on twitch.tv/Modern Toyfare. Or if you don't want to be part of the conversation and you just want to see what we bought, we will have the stream also posted on YouTube the following Wednesday as well. So you can check it out there. Make sure to check out all our other videos of the podcast. Go back and watch how cringeworthy the news was and let us know in the comments your thoughts. You check out the reviews. Check out Toy Therapy. Like I said, I've got a few people lined up. It's just a matter of finding the time from the Beyond. Evidently, I need to talk to Nate about whoever he's got in line to potentially have on the show if they want to come on. So check all of that out. Check us out. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at Modern Toyfare. Check Jarmar out over on twitch.tv /_ Jarmar_games. Wow, I fumbled through that real bad. Where he occasionally streams some games. You can check him out on YouTube. Why Are You a Gamer? You'll see some clips. Hopefully, eventually, season 1. Why Are You a Gamer? If you don't want to wait for that, you can check it out on any podcast platform out there, along with the audio only version of this podcast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast apps you know and love. Nate, what you got for us this week?
Let us know down in the comments. High Nate, dry Nate. Which one do you want? Which one do you want? I can do both,
Is
but I gotta know.
True. It could be alternation. Maybe there's like when you got a serious topic, we want you high as fuck. When you've got something just
Yeah.
normal, you just show up as is.
Just show up. As
just one quick aside. One stat that I'm disappointed and our fearless leader that he didn't have is every episode Nate normally does a fake podcast.
I realized that
so
as I threw it to
we
him.
get
I'm like, fuck, I didn't put that in there.
Yeah, and well, that's part of it too. Like, Dry Nate is not as quick. I'm thinking that shit up.
I was like, man, he is not ready tonight because you just had this look of, oh, fuck.
Nope, I had nothing. I got nothing.
Oh,
That's
God.
part. That's you got to take that shit into consideration, guys. When
That's
you're
part
when
of
you're
it.
commenting,
Yeah.
that's part of it. Like we really need to. But so many of those are on OnlyFigs or
Yeah.
what was Wednesday
That's
night
true.
purchases,
That's true.
and
That's true.
so you'd
Yeah,
have to
that
go
was the-
through it. Like
that
I would
was the-
do.
that was the problem why I
I would do
didn't
two a
have it.
night.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would do two a night.
I couldn't
I
get
can't
that
even do
statistic
one.
also because for the first however many weeks of weekly purchases, I would download it so I'd have it, but I
Mhm.
wouldn't title it and it wouldn't put the date on it. So then I can't keep track of when that started.
That's fair.
So I could keep track of it when it started on YouTube, but unfortunately with Twitch I wasn't
Right.
able to. So I was like, damn, I really want that stat, but then I was like, maybe
Yeah.
no one will notice. And then I threw it to him. I'm like, oh, Jamar's gonna notice. I can already tell.
I would be curious to like have a list of them and just know what each one was going to be. And
We'll have to do
so-
that at some
Maybe that's a
point.
game we could play some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also in the comments, if you've heard any, let me know which ones you want
Yeah.
to be real.
Yeah. Which one's your
Because,
favorite? Yeah.
Because Saturday Morning Sleaze or whatever I was going to call it, that one is still probably happening. But
You never officially announced that one, I don't think.
no, I didn't.
Yeah,
I?
it's-
You that was after the pod was over. You brought it up to us. No, you didn't tell anyone else
Oh,
about your porn
okay.
habits.
Okay, yeah, I was. Yeah, well, I'll tell them here then, since I didn't have one. So I do want to have a podcast because on Saturday mornings, my dog and I usually watch like a really old porno from like the 70s or the 80s. That because I have a company that I have a subscription to that sends me bad movies, and a lot of times there's porn, and they're fascinating. Like just as a historical context, and don't be weirded out because my dog is there. My dick is not. Nothing's happening. These are. They're not as
Like-
sexy as you might think. So-
Never mind.
This is you can't buy this kind of entertainment. That's what I'm saying.
Oh god. It's at the
And again, Dry Nate. So it's tough to tell. Mostly it just means my eyes are redder. Really, that's
Yeah.
really the only difference. I look more tired.
yeah. I can tell when you're more tired. I'm like, so tonight we're getting high, Nate.
Right. Right.
But yeah, for the record, he's not kayfabing you. This is a legit thing that him and his dog do on a regular basis. So yeah, if you'd be interested in a podcast about a man and his dog watching old terrible porn, let us know in the comments below. Also, let us know if you have been a fan of the show or if you're going back and rewatching old content. What's your favorite part? Or if you don't like either of them and you just like hearing my voice talk about toys, tell me how great the reviews are. That's very helpful too.
Yeah. Go watch.
That's fair.
Michael puts a lot of effort into those reviews. I don't like those either. I don't actually like the sound of Michael's voice. You guys are
Well, at
different, though.
least
You're
one.
different people. You're different people. No,
It's
I'm
hard
joking.
when we're not there.
They're very
you know?
good. No, they're very good reviews. They're very detailed. I love the pictures. The pictures are my favorite part. So go check them out if you don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm crying.
Legit,
Oh,
legit,
shit.
legit.
I just wanted to be like, man, he puts over Jarmar. He's like, oh yeah, Jamar's episodes are great. You should go click on those. But those fucking reviews are shit.
Ah!
Don't even waste your time.
Oh my god. All right, let's wrap it up. We got to go do OnlyFigs.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you again so much for 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully we can do this again at 5,000, 10,000. The sky's the limit. Let's to the fucking moon, all that
A
shit.
million.
But hopefully
Yeah.
we will see you next week. Same toy time, same Toyfare channel. Thank you for watching.
Bye.